Come on, Matt. Let's go. Let's go.
Exclusive edition of the Adam Thomas Podcast.
Yes.
Featuring Echo, Greg the Lawyer, Friends with Matt, and his friend, your host, Adam.
We got an all-star lineup tonight. Y'all keep piling in the chat.
Let's go.
We had to drop a few truth bombs now at the beginning.
Yeah, I saw.
Anyway. All right, we're back. We are back. What's up? What's up, guys? I don't think I need to introduce anybody here, so I hope everybody's having a good evening. Looking forward to a wild weekend for some of y'all folks. Not so much for me, but anyway. Yeah, glad to see everybody in the chat. Y'all just keep on piling in there. Guys, who we starting with?
Oh, it doesn't matter to me.
Do we want to start out sharing video, or do we want to start, start with the, it don't make me any difference. We can start wherever y'all want.
Honestly, I'd love to start with the Esquire over there.
There we go.
Yeah. What is that?
He's the man. He's the resident attorney.
We're the attorney.
Yep. Yeah. So, I mean, what you want to give just like a real quick recap on the whole trial thing for anything that we may have missed the other day? Any high points? Anything? I'm assuming you watched it, didn't you, Echo?
I did. I'm curious what the lawyer thinks.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, Greg, I don't think the judge came to any conclusions and won't until probably the first, right?
No, the judge didn't rule on anything. He took everything. Well, pretty much under advisement. Obviously, the second part of the hearing the other day was about. Was it second part? The second part was about the media, and yeah, so he tabled that. He's taking that under advisement. Then the first part, talking about the prosecutor's contempt, obviously they're asking for an evidentiary hearing on that issue, and so I guess he took that under advisement. He'll announce whether they're going to proceed with that or not. Also, I think at the next. Oh, as a matter of fact, he's going to do it over WebEx. He says he's going to deliver those orders over WebEx, I believe, the first. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
That sounds right. Yeah.
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 I liked it. I for one time, I felt that Judge was actually pretty receptive to the defense's arguments in regard to the contempt issue.
That's what the biggest. One of the biggest takeaways from that, I guess, is they're one of the
Again, that's just my
question, though, Greg.
Go ahead.
Have you decided yet if the defense is genuinely trying to help Tyler, or do they have ulterior motives and they're just pretending to help Tyler?
That's a good question. And I said this the other day. I mean, I'm starting because I heard some things in this last hearing related to the private motion that they filed that explained a bit better for me exactly why they did that. So I'm starting to think that they're actually working for him. But again, that doesn't resolve the potential. Did they hire these attorneys, do the death penalty, hire, for a specific reason, not that they're like on board, right? And again,
somebody can always look you up and see what your weaknesses are and stuff like that.
They control the purse strings. They control, and I don't know if y'all heard Barron on Zach's talked about this is going to be a battle of the experts, right? If it goes to trial, I tend to agree. And hey, in a death penalty case like this, with the county, the state funding it, well, they get to approve or disapprove of whether certain experts get retained or not.
Right. I mean, look, if they don't, if the prosecution don't come up with some kind of underlying, evidence on different things like the DNA and the bullet forensics, or whatever you want to consider it, but either way, all that kind of stuff. I mean, it'll come down to the experts. That's about all they'll have to go on.
Yeah, I mean, again, unfortunately,
Like they still have not got that stuff. That's
I
crazy
don't
to
think
me.
so. And unfortunately, I don't think we're going to. I mean, depending on how judge rules on the 1102 constitutional. Oh, by the way, he did signify, he acknowledged that the defense had filed that motion to challenge the constitutionality of the 1102 Article 1, Section 12 paradigm there.
Yeah.
And because the state actually was trying to argue a little bit on it during the second part of this last hearing, they tried to insert argument towards that motion into this, and judge actually stopped. I think it was Grunander was the DA up there arguing. He stopped him and said,
Yeah.
okay, we're not going to go into that right now. And I thought for a second he had just inadvertently kind of digressed a little bit into it, but no, it seemed like he
He was
one of his
going down that
bullets in
road.
his outline was to try to go into that issue. So, it'll be interesting. I guess back to my original point is that, a lot of the expert evidence, stuff like that, or the real battle of the experts, obviously we wouldn't see any of that till trial, primarily because of the 1102 thing and them wanting to get in these, conclusory reports over, having it to where they can be cross-examined and or where, be challenged by another expert.
Yeah, make sure they have time to really really study on that pre-recorded Lance deposition.
Well, in regards to the other the conclusory expert reports, it's you can't do anything to challenge that until your expert gets a chance to actually look at the underlying evidence, look at the full basis and all the data points for their report. So yeah, I mean it's they kind of got the defense in a bad place in that sense, right? That or at least for the preliminary hearing, if
Right.
1102 Article 1, Section 12 is upheld by the judge, yeah, it's as the defense said in their motion, they're going to be like potted plants. There's just not a lot they can do without the ability to confront and cross-examine at that hearing.
Right.
Well, and what got me was I thought was kind of funny, I can't remember exactly how that goes or how they worded it, but basically when they were arguing about what the defense had said in their motion, and the prosecution came on to kind of counter it and correct the record, and I forget exactly how it's worded, but basically, a defense attorney is, bound by certain, code of ethics and everything else, but they have a responsibility to the defendant, to, what I don't know how to put it, but basically to give them a proper defense and make sure nothing's represented and stuff like that. It was funny to me though when the prosecutor was trying to use that almost like the public is, and I guess it kind of is, but he was basically making it seem well, the public is my client, and so we had that responsibility to go in here and counter that that statement and correct the record, because obviously they may get in hot water over that. So,
yeah, Echo, you want to say something?
Well, it's just there's the defense was trying to disqualify the entire office for the sort of prejudicial investigation that they basically started, and so here they're now holding a different person in contempt for basically going to the media, right? And that included, I think, Daily Mail and New York Post, which are also the ones who were putting, out early information. And so there's seemingly a pipeline between the prosecution and the media. And so the defense's kind of request that the prosecution basically said they weren't going to fulfill, and which the defense is now asking the judge to basically force them to turn that over, right, was seemed to be about the specific content of what was being deliberated on, and just the fact that they were deliberating in the first place is a violation, I think, of the or at least that itself might not be the violation, but there was communication with it, and so that's kind of what the arguments were. But it continued that prejudicial, slander from the prosecution side. The other thing that I thought was really interesting was, based on what the prosecution, defense, and media all said about the what is basically hearsay, and which, because it's hearsay, is prejudicial also, and could slant the jury against or the jury pool against their client. It sounds like they're not going to show anything unless the judge sort of is the only advocate for the public, I guess, because
seems like it.
It seems like the only thing that could possibly be heard is Twiggs's statement that would be recording, because all of the pictures are going to be the chambers are going to be shielded from these pictures, and so I guess only the judge is going to see them, and based on what they are, it's only one person is going to basically see them, and I guess actually. Anybody on the other side?
Yeah, so going back to kind of the first part real quick about the prejudicial statements made by the prosecution. Yeah, so it was kind of twofold what they were talking about, or what they were requests for judge. Like, right after, and if we remember correctly, right, the prosecutor's statements, the prejudicial ones, which we dissected the other night, Adam and I did a bit, but those were made in response to when the defendant filed, when Robinson's attorneys filed the motion to continue the preliminary hearing. They discussed and labeled as exculpatory the ATF report, right? And then the media took it from there and, ran with it. And so the prosecutor, trying to, and their client is the state. Judge is our representative. Like, when it comes to media access, stuff like that, like, the judge plays our attorney in all that, right? But in regards to the prejudicial statement, the DA was saying, the state's our client, and we had a duty to get out there and make
and more of a duty to truth than even the defense, right?
He said, us prosecutors have a duty to, he said a duty to the truth. Like, he didn't directly say it, but implying that the defense have nothing to do with the truth. It was, but what they did is, as soon as they made those statements, the defense sent them a discovery request, and what they were asking, like you indicated, was for the internal correspondence and other communications in between the DAs. And the reason for that, like you say, it doesn't necessarily go to whether they were in contempt. Obviously, we can look at the statement and judge can judge that, according to the rule as it is. But it goes to the seriousness of if there was contempt, right? And so basically gauging remedies, it depends, were they aware that this was a violation of the rule yet did it anyways? Or they didn't really know whether it was a violation of the rule, but they talked it over, and maybe they just made kind of a bad judgment call versus intentionally going in, knowing that there's no way that this is going to come out in a way that is congruent with the rule. So that's really what the internal communications were for, and why the defense was asking for them, to get judge to compel them to answer. But, secondary there was also hey, we want to have an evidentiary hearing on this, which said emails or correspondence would obviously be relevant to. It was very interesting. Like I say, I could tell that the state got a dose of its own medicine, right? Because obviously there's a lot of statements made against the defendant, and have been, both by people in their camp and by the media. And so it's kind of comical for me to see the prosecutor have to take some of that and not control their emotions, apparently.
Well, did you get the feeling like me that, obviously, if something's been violated, it has to be dealt with. But did you get the feeling like me that the judge, I mean, didn't say it in so many words, but as far as, the prosecutors going and, quote unquote, correcting the record, that, they were so adamant that what the defense said was so mischaracterizing, what was actually said in the ATF report. But yet at the same time, what they said was inconclusive, which is exactly what the ATF report said. I mean, it said we could not positively match it, and we could not rule it out. It's inconclusive.
Well,
So,
the thing about the inconclusivity is that based on which side you want to take, it's either going to be it's either going to be exculpatory or inculpatory.
Yeah.
And so because of that ambiguity, people are going to say, well, it matches on some levels. Other people will say, well, not enough. It all goes to
either side's got about as much ground to stand on as the other.
Yeah.
And every single piece of the sort of proof pie here is built on that same kind of, it could go either way on some level. And so I think, just the fact that it is ambiguous, I think, is what the defense is basically saying makes it exculpatory. But you can still, get away with saying inculpatory and then potentially overlooking that fact.
Well, no, and
also it seems like just to end with that, they basically said they didn't want to enter the reports into the probable cause. They didn't want to show that or make that available or accessible to the media or potentially anybody else. And then, with the files being classified as either private or, personal or all of these different things, you also can't see a number of different pieces of how things are being assessed or the different evidence. And so if especially he doesn't even go to trial because this is, settled potentially, or there's a plea, it would seem that they could get away with not showing any evidence, and we would be none the wiser, because they say they have it.
So on that issue, I'm thinking, let's just say in a hypothetical, judge were to rule that the 1102 Article 1, Section 12, at least as it relates to this case, is unconstitutional, and then opens it up to where the defense can actually show up, confront Lance, confront these other experts, and cross-examine them. Well, that might vitiate the defense's urge to want to suppress that evidence, or at least hide that evidence for purposes of the preliminary hearing, because then they'll have an opportunity to actually challenge it. I think what the issue for the defense is right now is especially with the 1102 evidence, right? It's they're going to bring this evidence in, the public's going to see it, we have no way to challenge it or put it into the crosshairs, and so it'll just pass into the public domain without challenge or
and I get that. I understand it. I've said from day one, I'm okay with the cameras not really being in there, even though I'd like for them to be, as long as they're there when trial starts. I'm good with it, because I can see both sides of how it could prejudice. I can see both sides of it. For during the preliminary hearing and stuff. So,
well, I think the solution that they posed was basically it's your legal right to spread as much disinformation as possible, as long as you have a live feed to the actual thing, so that hopefully someone can root through all the disinformation, which sounds great, and that's wonderful. But then also, if you don't have access to those exhibits, then you can't know for sure. The whole thing is a trust me, bro. And so, to the question of are the defense in on it? I wonder who's talking to who and what the different roles are in this strategy, and also the degree to which Tyler is in on it, if at all. Because even to sort of assume that is to not presume innocence, which is like on some level the problem. But then also, how do you explain all of these things? And I think that is sort of the question that gets to Candace, that gets to, the sort of open source and, investigation, and really what everybody's trying to figure out. So
Yeah.
it's a question.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
right,
no,
that's right.
and again, when I said earlier, like I'm starting to feel better that they're working for Tyler, but again, this whole situation, and I've said this since day one, I do run away from drawing any hard conclusions on a lot of things in this case, just because I feel like doing that and getting stuck in a position, that's when the fast one comes just right by you, and so
Yeah.
so it's evolving, right? My opinion on that issue is evolving with me right now. Feeling pretty good that they're doing what they need to be doing, but we'll see as it plays out.
Yep. Time will only tell, right?
Yeah. I was gonna say real quick in terms of whether they're going to allow cameras in on the preliminary hearing. The way I kind of felt Judge is that he recognized that like the defense's suggestion to like completely exclude like cameras and all that's like that's not, and like I said in my live stream, the standard requires narrow tailoring, meaning that judge's order needs to be narrowly tailored, like just as prohibitive on the media as possible, in order to try to protect everyone's rights. And so, off the bat, he said, totally excluding the cameras, that's not narrowly tailored. There's just like a general blanket, y'all got to get out of here. And then, even the prosecution, I think after what they experienced with the media, even they're like, maybe we do need to put some restraint on what's disclosed at the preliminary hearing. So I would imagine it'll be somewhere in between where we'll get to see most of it, but there might be some bits on some of these exhibits and stuff where they cut it off for them to present it to judge on the record, without us being right there.
Yeah. And like I said, I mean, I'm cool with it as long as they're there at least by the time, trial starts. They got to be in there when trial starts. Or
Oh, they will. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. The evidence, while it might be technically right now admissible for the preliminary hearing purposes, no, come to trial, they're going to have to bring those people in and they're going to have to fully develop those expert reports, hand over the evidence, all that.
Right. Exactly.
And the question is like, will it even get to that, or will this?
That's $1 million question there.
That's the $1 million question.
Yeah.
Telegraph that they like definitely do have it, but then it's never actually shown, and so it's a question of whether they do.
Yeah.
Yep. Keep them fingers crossed and pray.
I mean, the judge should basically make those exhibits accessible to the public and the media, because that is the entire thing. And if it's just like, cops got it from social media, it's like, is that how we're doing police detective work?
Right.
The screenshot from the social media,
right.
Like, here's our exhibit, judge. Like, oh my god,
like YouTuber,
So why do they say that this could go on for years?
Well, yeah, death penalty cases. How long do death penalty cases usually go?
I think that's part of it, is just the amount of appeals that you can bet will be coming.
Well, and that's the thing is exactly you indicated is that, death penalty is a serious matter, right? I think we can all agree on that. And so the attorneys are very, very meticulous in creating the record, meaning that, every objection needs to be, plainly stated, motions filed, hearings had, cross all T's, dot all I's. Where in another case, it might be part of the strategy, maybe we don't want to spend so much time pursuing this thing that might not be that successful versus this. Whereas in a death penalty case, it's like any colorable argument or avenue that you have to represent your client and assert their rights, you have to more or less do it, right?
Yeah.
So it's a much more meticulous process because of the appeals afterwards, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's
because how many appellate courts are there before you get to the the Supreme Court?
With a death penalty case, I mean, it's there's pretty much appeals until the time that they're executed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, right up to the day before, right? I mean,
yeah.
I think in some cases I've heard day of that they actually got,
There have been some day of. One issue I do want to cover tonight, if we have the time, is I want to talk about this paver testimony, like the paver contractor.
Oh, for sure.
Oh yeah.
Talk about that in context of Tyler's due process rights, because
for sure.
It sharpened our due process analysis on that issue.
If you want
Do you
to,
have a
and
clip of
Matt's
the
ready to
paver?
go. Whoops, sorry.
Do you have a clip of the paver just giving his testimony? Do we need to pull that up?
I've got one handy. It's not ready to go. If you want to go ahead, we can. If you've got a video there, go ahead and pop it up there. And
Matt,
I'll.
if you got the video, go for it.
I have a couple of funny videos. It's a total change of pace from what we were just talking about, but sure.
Hey,
One of
it's
them's
all good.
okay. I think. Oh yeah, let me share my screen real fast. I'm not going to say anything about this video I'm about to show you, but I think you guys will figure out in 2 seconds why I am showing this. I found this video, and it's from a month ago. And keep in mind what we just discovered today, and I'm not going to play the whole thing. You'll see.
All right.
My screen is, I'm sharing the screen.
I got you.
Okay,
There
cool.
we go.
And I do have the paver video pull up whenever we're ready for it. Just
Okay, cool. Yeah, I would love to see his story again. I've only seen it once.
It's pretty good.
All right, hear me out. This
Use
is
the
not
restroom,
a
I'll
video
grab that.
game. It's not CG or AI.
It's real.
It's all real, shot in camera.
You see why
with real
I'm
people
playing this
on real
video?
sets. It's crazy, right? I don't know if you've seen it yet, but a few months ago, the crypto company Coinbase wanted
Don't
to
believe your lying eyes.
Yeah, this is real. This is not CG. Anyway, I was watching the video while you guys were talking. So this whole thing about masks.
Here it is.
They've been working on the masks for a hot minute. Have you guys heard what the idiots are saying? They're trying to say that this is just shadow.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
a shadow and it's bad lighting. I'm like, no, I've
Bullshit,
watched this a million
bullshit.
times. That's a mask, and you can see him. You can see the mask like flabbing on the sides of his neck.
That is not a shadow.
No, not at all.
Things I am certain. What do you think the next best move is today?
Well, I agree with the general completely.
I can't
with
even
one
watch this. It's so
caveat.
gross.
Patience may be a little short of the real objective here. The president has time on his hands.
I can't even watch this. Do you guys not get disgusted seeing
Yeah,
this?
because when I first saw it, the first thing I thought was, looked like somebody tried to cut his head off right before he went on.
Ugh.
I mean, seriously,
I can't even look at it.
it looks like,
Right.
yeah, a shadow. Look, I got some better, clearer
You do?
images of it, I found some
Oh,
online,
Go
and
for
I
it.
zoomed in on it, and I'm telling you, that is not a shadow.
No, that looks like a piece that didn't get makeup covering it as it
Yeah,
connects
or
the next to the
it came untucked or unglued or whatever.
It's so gross. I couldn't find the one of Bibi Netanyahu though, where the
Have you
mask
seen,
is showing.
Oh yeah, I'd like to see that.
I really
Have y'all
want to
seen
find
the comparison though of him and himself?
Who? Bibi Netanyahu?
No, that admiral there, that vice admiral.
Oh yeah, I've seen the comparison of the
Side
real
to
him.
side. Yeah.
Anyway, this is a random video. The mom and dad geese down here. The baby is way up there. And watch what happens. Do you see the baby?
Yeah.
The baby, where'd the baby go? Oh, there
Right
it is. There it is.
Yeah, there it is.
You think he's going to jump?
Oh yeah.
No, don't do it. Don't do it.
God.
Oh, I love birds, dude. Birds are so awesome.
Oh, I was hoping there was water underneath it.
He lives. This is on mainstream news, man. They
Oh,
wouldn't
there
shove
is
this
water
in
under
the
it. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, before that, I guess it's training day for them.
Dang, man.
Hey,
Yeah.
that's like how people used to teach their kids how to swim. Be 2 years old, throw them in the deep end, and hey, sink or swim.
Yeah. Yo, what is this thing about Fetterman's secret Israeli handler? Do you guys know anything about this?
I don't know anything about that.
I kept seeing it come up, but this looks like a boring video. We don't have to. Just someone say, you know about this?
No, not me. I have no idea.
I just kept seeing that topic come up. Who's Fetterman again? Someone that works for Trump, and they've got a secret handler.
Yeah, he's isn't he Democrat? He sort of went against them to kind of get keep the Iran war going. Was that him? Or was that someone different?
I don't know because
All right, so now we move on.
Fetterman was against it, wasn't he? Or at least initially.
Yeah, I got it.
Fetterman's secret Israeli handler exposed. That's just a.
Oh my God, he looks so Philly-ish. He's got
So wait.
Philadelphia wrote all over that.
Yeah, is this Fetterman right here?
Yeah.
And that's his handler.
I mean,
Ew,
he's
this
got
looks
one.
like looks like a couple of FAGs. What the heck?
So
He
you don't
reminds me of Runkle from Californication.
You don't know Fetterman?
No, I'm
Oh my
I'm
God,
not the smartest person ever.
He's the one that literally got elected wearing a freaking hoodie and jogging pants. I mean, the guy, he had a major stroke, and I don't know, they had some kind of computer, some kind of fancy computer technology that's helping work in his I don't know, helping him out with his brain and mouth connecting. I don't know exactly what it was. Either way, oh God, some of the stuff he would say, I mean, he can't help it. He had a stroke. I mean, but dang.
Fetterman did?
Yeah, I figured you knew about him.
Yeah, no, it sounds familiar. Just the thought of someone like in their hoodie. But anyway,
got elected to the Senate.
So, over the last years, Democratic Party's support for Israel has undergone a dramatic reversal. 18 Democratic senators backed a measure to block arms sales to the country in April of this year. It was 40. Yeah, everyone's acting like the Democrats don't like Israel, but like you guys already know,
no, they do.
Yeah, 90% of their politicians also take money from AIPAC. So
look,
it's
the
all
average.
an act.
Yeah, the average Democrat or person that calls himself a Democrat, the voter, yeah, a lot of them have completely turned away. But now when it comes to Congress, D.C., I mean, they're 99.9% all completely bought.
Oh, this is a random thing. I found a website that's so bad we might get banned just if I even pull it up. It's not like pornography or anything. It's called Goyim TV. GoyimTV.com.
I got to check that out sometime.
I'm scared to pull it up. I'm going to pull it up, and then we can't look at it very long, and we have to go. And the YouTube.
Yeah, y'all check this on y'all's own time, chat.
Look, you see what I'm saying?
Oh God!
What, dude?
That got us.
Did you see though?
Yeah.
Where's Tristan Tate? This is how I found it. Let me find Tristan Tate. I don't even follow Tristan Tate. I don't know how he came up. Why is it not coming up? Tristan Tate. Dude, this video makes me mad because it seems like this seems fake, or it seems like this is the Goyim TV people.
Mm-hmm.
They are so racist against Jews that it makes me think it's fake. Like Jewish people are paying them to do this to make us feel sorry for Jews.
And that very well could be, and that's what I was going to say. I always try to differentiate. Obviously, you can talk about the whole Jewish supremacy thing and all that, whatever. But to me, it's not about the Jews. It's about the Israelis, that government, and those, their influence. And all
we
that
have to
stuff.
say it's the Zionists and it's the Rothschilds. We do not like Rothschilds or Zionists. Same thing. You want to see this though?
Right.
You want to see how racist they are?
Man, what's your thoughts about Jews sucking baby penis?
Hey, how about fucking you?
Oh yeah, Jew?
Excuse me?
I said, oh yeah, you cross-eyed Jew?
Whether I'm a Jew or not.
You are Jewish. You are Jewish. You are
Disgustingly
Jewish. You're so Jewish.
This is so fake.
You're so Jewish. You're hideous. Jewish. What's your thoughts about your Jew sucking baby penis?
Oh my God!
Do you guys know about the Jews sucking baby penis thing though? It's real.
Part of the circumcision. When they cut it off, they supposedly and allegedly sucked the blood out.
I knew about that before I started to specialize in free exercise of religion, and my position that shouldn't be protected under the law. And again, I'm not saying that because I'm like trying to be prejudicial or just like a fair constitutional analysis. Is that I want to say there's been instances where babies have actually caught infections and been injured or maybe even lost their life.
I think that only goes if it doesn't affect anybody at all, any other people at all.
Yeah. So, and I'll just tell y'all real quick, the Constitution, the original 13 colonies, the impetus was this: if you're not physically harming a person, another, right, or disturbing anyone else's peace, go about your business with freedom of religion. But again, harming children,
babies,
I don't think it's ever been in the spirit of religious freedom in this country. Just my opinion.
Nope.
Yeah. Yes. Anyway, I saw Tristan Tate post about how retarded this guy is.
That square on that microphone is meant to look like something other than what's on it.
Dude, but they're so flamboyant about hating Jews, and they're so racist.
They have to be. They have to be getting BB bucks.
Dude, and what makes this the most fake is the police officers standing there doing nothing when this guy has clearly assaulted that man. Because as Greg knows, a lot of people don't know this. You don't have to touch someone to assault them, but getting in their face like this and being racist to them is assaulting them. So he has just committed a crime in front of the cop. The cop does nothing.
Yeah,
so this has got to be fake.
Yeah, trust me. Just a heterosexual white dude. I mean, they're the first ones that are going to get the cuffs slapped on them for the most part. So
Yep. So this whole thing is just so fake.
That could very well be. Look, BB bucks are known to go to people like that just to get stricter anti-Semitism laws and stuff like that. Yeah.
Look at what it says down here. But yeah, then we caught the Democrats.
Oh God.
I know, right? We caught the Democrats. What is he? It almost looks like he's mocking the baby penis sucking joke. We caught the Democrats paying for racists to show up to the Trump crowd. This is the same thing. I think this is Bibi Netanyahu paying these people to be racist against Jews to make Jew hater or to make Zionist haters look like this. Make you think of this. So that's what y'all think of when you think of me now.
Everybody gets lumped together.
Do you think that's the same thing with other personalities like Nick Fuentes or even Candace Owens?
I've wondered with some of them.
Like Nick Fuentes, I'm starting to think is a Fed. What do you guys think?
Well, to me, the stupid extremes. I mean, that he goes through, absolutely hates Trump, everything he stands for, everything he wants to do, and then all of a sudden he's like, when it comes to Venezuela, talking about how we're going to go over there and kick their asses, and we did, I don't know. It's just like one extreme to the other, back and forth. Doesn't make much sense. So I don't know.
Yeah.
If I was going to have to rank probability, I mean, he would probably be the highest probability on the list.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to put up some. We're gonna have to put up that paver video to.
Did anybody check out that Unfuck America documentary that's been coming out?
What's it about?
It's the Unfuck America tour. I think just put out a video that was sort of doing a documentary on how some of the USA chapters are not actually real. And I haven't finished the whole thing, but if this is it, I just wanted to point out that Candace and Nick have done work together. Candace and Destiny have done work together. Hunter and Destiny do work. So it's just
Candace worked for Ben Shapiro, and they hate each other's guts now. You know what I mean? Just because they've worked together in the past might not be.
She used to be a flaming leftist, so I mean, I could easily see her and Destiny doing work together years ago.
Should we watch this video, Ghost Chapters? Is this what you're talking about, Echo?
Yeah, I think it's not. I don't think it's long. Yeah, how long is it?
10 minutes-ish? Yeah, I kind of want to see it now. I've never heard of Unfuck America Tour.
There's going to be a whole bunch of them.
I normally don't cuss on. I'm just saying the name of this channel.
You just read the name of it, yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's look at this about this.
12 chapters, and only 7 of them were actually real.
Whoa. What?
Now, look, I want everybody to keep in mind one thing. I like to keep this. I like to frame it this way. I mean, I watched it. The information in there is probably good or mostly good, but it is going to have somewhat of a slant. I mean, this is literally
this video.
Yeah, I mean these
seen
people
this. Oh.
literally hated Charlie Kirk and everything him and Turning Point stood for.
So this is a liberal. This is a liberal.
Yes, the Unfuck
Oh,
America
okay.
is
which is
Destiny
it,
and
the-
all of those.
the-
Things.
Hunter's part of it too.
Yep, Hunter Kozak.
Hunter. Oh, okay.
It's going to be left slanted. It's going to be,
Yeah, since I'm a flaming conservative, so I normally don't watch stuff like this, but I kind of like checking it out every now and then.
Well, I mean, like I said, as far as most of the numbers and everything going, it's probably accurate, but I always like to keep that in mind. Like, they literally created this entity here to counter Turning Point. So,
okay, let's see.
If something sounds a little extreme, maybe it is, but like I said, the numbers are probably pretty accurate.
All right.
And this
Thank
is
you for the
probably the
heads up,
kind of thing
though.
Charlie didn't know about and was starting to wise up on, hence wanting an audit. Oops, I'm sorry, an effort.
Yeah, I mean that is the nice thing though about having these two opposite parties that hate each other is sometimes it takes the other party to expose something that your party won't admit to a certain truth, and I'm in denial about it because I love it. Like I loved Trump for way too long. It took me forever to finally turn on Trump. He had, but yeah. So anyway, let's.
The other 5, I found out. The previous field reps' family members had pretended to open up a chapter so that they could claim their chapters on campuses, and then the rest were legitimately fake contact information, bounced back, texts bounced, calls failed. Nobody is actually verifying the students' identities.
It's really creepy to think that they're collecting students' phone numbers in the first place.
Please welcome.
This is a little bit slow paced.
Would you trust Erica with your child's phone number?
I trust this girl. Yeah, no, I wouldn't. Sorry.
School across the state.
In its own filings, the organization claims to operate more than 1,800 campus chapters and to be active in more than 3,000 high school and college campuses.
Great question. Start a Turning Point USA chapter.
It says its program reaches millions of students. And behind that movement is money. In a single year, Turning Point USA spent more than $20 million on what it calls its field program, the part of the organization responsible for building and supporting these chapters. Altogether, it raises more than $80 million annually. That money comes from donors who are told they're funding something very specific. A nationwide grassroots network of young people organizing, educating, and reshaping the future of American politics from the ground up.
But now what they're doing, I forget where I saw this. I saw someone exposing TPUSA. All they're doing is collecting data to send to Israel so that Israel can market and pay influencers to like target teenagers and church members to like Israel.
Yeah, via
Like,
Tyler Boyer and Erica's mother, you know.
Well, and like Erica's whole thing going on tour around the country to go speak at all these churches, which she was doing for free, being like, oh, we're here because we love Jesus. No one paid me to be here. But she's also making a deal with the church that we're going to like geo-track everyone's phone who shows up to your church. So now what they're not actually doing it for free. What they're actually doing is getting everyone to show up to this church and then snatching all their phone data so they can send it to Israel so that Israel can go contact those people later. Have you heard about this? And Israel's contacting them asking, do you have a few moments to talk about the importance of USA's relationship with Israel?
I didn't hear that. I knew that they were geo-tracking people at those events.
Dude, Israel is using AI to contact everyone. Erica Kirk, everywhere she's gone on tour, anyone that went to the church to go see Erica speak is getting texts from an AI from Israel saying, do you have a few moments to talk about the importance of the relationship between the USA and Israel? And it's a bot that will actually like argue with you about why it's so important. And they're doing this with the kids too. The whole thing about like, oh, we have chapters in all these high schools and all these colleges. Sure, maybe a whole bunch of them are fake, but what they're also doing is getting all these kids information so they can follow them on the internet and make sure that they love Israel.
Yeah. Hey, dude, that just reminded me. I've got a screenshot. I'll have to show it sometime. But yes, I got a text message, something about asking me how I felt about Israel. And
you have to share that, dude.
Yes, I will. I totally forgot about it till you were saying that.
I don't know if we really need to watch this video. So basically they're saying a bunch of it's fake. What are they saying is fake?
Yeah, so like one chapter, like if you look at the map, it shows all these different chapters, the name of the school and everything. And they have gone and investigated a bunch of them. And they went to one, I forget the name of it. It was in Georgia. And literally they got there and the school has been closed down for like 2 years. The doors are hanging open. There's, shit strode everywhere. Positively no kids going to school there, but yet it shows to be an active chapter on the Turning Point website. So,
yeah,
it's like, and so look, even if, this is the way I look at it, it's bad, even if they're not given money, because I don't think Turning Point necessarily directly gives these chapters any kind of money. But at the end of the day, for every chapter that they have, that is donors that are, donors are paying more because they think that they're doing X, Y, and Z. And if they're not actually doing X, Y, and Z, it's kind of fraudulent. Yeah. Like I said, I think this is the kind of thing that Charlie didn't know about and was learning about.
I want to play this.
Goes to like who the decisions are, like who are the decisions being made.
Yes. Yes.
What are the technology companies, who are they owned by? I think there's been some sort of good work on how this money is flowing in different places. But if it's, if it is an op, if it is a front, and it's a front for, foreign intelligence gathering through youth via schools or churches, it's an interesting, fact that so many of these, I guess, chapters may not even be real, and more of that kind of just
wow.
Says administrators told us they had no affiliation with Turning Point USA at all. School, would you be able to let us know if it was ever a club that existed and maybe dissolved?
It has never. I do know for a fact it has never been a club on campus.
Gotcha.
72 high schools we contacted. 7 schools said they had an active Club America chapter. 31 schools said they had no chapter at all.
A student organization can come and go. Records can be incomplete.
Okay.
And a national organization may define its presence.
I think this is the Georgia one that you were talking about.
And I'm sure they lapse like every year.
The former Wilson Training School was established then. Building suffers from lack of maintenance and deterioration.
Oh yeah, look at it.
Yeah, and especially if they're getting money from the government to do this, or if
Turning Point USA start a club.
It's showing you how easy it is to make a fraudulent one. They're literally making it in real time.
Oh wow.
Yeah, just watch till the end here.
Oh,
see, they just put a fake picture up.
That's creepy. You can create fake pictures of kids like just that.
Well,
easy.
I mean, it's probably a generic screenshot offline.
Right. Now we got to go back to all of Roch's pictures.
We received your chart agreement, so I want to reach out with the next steps. I couldn't be more excited to welcome you all to the Club America family.
Yep.
So a lot of them are just fake. Oh man. Boom, there it is.
That's the one. Yeah.
They made a fake chapter of TPUSA.
And popped up on the map right away.
Wait, what is this?
Clubs.
A name, a contact, a record that may or may not reflect what's actually happening on the ground. And when
that's so crazy.
Yep.
Well, yeah, it kind of reminds me of what Matt Tucciaroni taught us about how TPUSA operated as like ballot harvesters. They just all they care about are the numbers. They don't care about like authenticity.
Hey, we need to get Matt T on now and
Charlie's Angels.
See what he knows about this.
I kid you not, Charlie's Angels. I just had the same thought. I wasn't even reading your text when I said that. You said the exact same thing as me. That's so funny.
Yep.
Sorry, I interrupted you, Adam. What's up?
I said the same thing. I said we need to get Matt T on now and talk to him and see what what if anything he knows about that, and
Dude, I haven't been able to get in contact with him. He contacted me like a few weeks ago saying, "Hey, I'm in Texas. I'll call you soon." And I've texted him and called him since then. And he didn't respond. I think he's trying to step away from the internet life. But I don't know though.
I texted him like 2 months ago and he never replied back, so I don't know.
Yeah. When's the last time you talked to Mitch Snow? Because Mitch Snow also doesn't reply to me anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, I haven't tried that many times. I've messaged him on X and I text messaged him, and I think I called him, and that's it. Just
I haven't texted him lately, but now I was talking to him a couple of weeks ago. We had a show lined up, and then he said that he had some baby mama drama pop up, and he had to go to court, so he was going to lay low for a little bit.
Uh-oh.
Ross, thanks a lot. This critical news. Once again, a topic of contention between the U.S. and Iran.
The battle intensifying over who has control of the key waterway, all while peace talks remain at a standstill. Our D.C. Bureau Chief Ben Kennedy has more from Washington.
In the war with Iran, Secretary of State Marco Rubio says progress is being made on a deal to end the conflict.
There's been some slight progress. I don't want to exaggerate it, but there's been a little bit of movement, and that's good.
He met with U.S.
I don't believe anything.
A little bit of movement in which direction?
This is a nothing burger. Dude, have you guys seen? I am now convinced that China and America are not enemies or competitors at all, but the elites in China and the elites in America are best friends. It all makes sense now. Yeah. The reason they want us to think of China as a threat is the elites have everything to gain from us thinking that they're a threat. It's one of the big examples is
that way with all
we're funding all this research into AI. If you question why we have to give billions of dollars to AI, what they'll say is, well, we have to compete with China.
We got to beat China.
Yeah. Did you see, though, when all these guys when Trump went to China recently, did you see everyone he took with him? It was like Elon Musk, because all these tech billionaires.
All the tech bros, yep.
So all they were doing over there is just plotting and planning how to build a world AI surveillance.
Yep.
That's all they were doing.
Yep.
One interesting thing I saw was the lawyer of the huge data center that's sort of going into Utah. It was interesting. The Kevin, what's his name? Kevin, the guy on the Shark Tank.
Kevin O'Leary.
Yeah, so he's the guy. So his lawyer is Erica and Charlie's lawyer. He was the lawyer that is basically on the docket for the Tyler Robinson case, getting information for Erica Neiman, I think. He was also the lawyer who was with Charlie when he was pleading the fifth, and also Kevin O'Leary's lawyer. So, I wondered that relationship, and then also I think the governor of Utah made a deal to protect the Great Salt Lake and Trump gave him all this money, I think, to do it. But I just thought that was a really interesting kind of relationship with this Great Salt Lake restoration, this data center that is absolutely essential for national security, the connection to Kevin O'Leary, who's connected to the lawyers, to Erica and Charlie, and then you have this smack in the middle of it. You have this UVU campus, which signs a 5-year agreement with NVIDIA, and is also involved in deep fake research. So just thinking about what the evidence is that was provided to us, and all of these potential deep fake audio things or pictures or video, it's really unclear what is what, especially with all this disinformation in the ecosystem. So, and we're signaling that there's only going to be more of it. So it's kind of an interesting web of connections.
Is this a real name? Major Cheng Cheng?
Look, they name them different over there, okay?
I'm sorry, Echo. I'm so sorry.
Well, and we got Elon Musk, right? Who's right next to.
He's thinking. He's like, oh yes. He's like, I would love to add a 14th or 15th kid to my portfolio.
Another baby. Does this guy have a mask on? Is that the mask guy?
Probably. No, that's Stephen Miller right there.
That dude needs a mask.
Hey, we're gonna watch that paver video. People in the chat probably start.
Yeah,
to
they're
wonder.
asking.
We bouncing around like a ping pong ball here.
Sorry.
No, you're good. I just happened to think
Go
of it
ahead
again.
and pull it up.
Bills to distract us from the fact we're not going to see any evidence from this trial. This guy is basically the propagandist for this thing. I think he had that is a crazy story.
I think that I think that was really revealing. That was a pretty good. I would love to get that guy on to talk to him.
Which
but
one?
you know, you could tell the guy that put the pavers down at UVU.
Yeah, I got the video pulled up.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's up there.
If you can allow it where I can share, Adam.
Oh no, I see. I'm sorry. I thought
Oh, you
that
got
was I thought that was the one Matt had there. Sorry.
Oh, is that mine?
Yep, I think so.
Let me.
Yeah, UVU contractor. Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Cool. All right, here we go.
Merrill made.
What's up, guys? Hey, I just want to share a quick post here. I got a call about a week and a half ago from a couple of maintenance guys from the state of Utah that had been asked to replace, to beautify an area where a brother had been gunned down.
Got that gun.
Okay. When he came out and made this post, what was alarming to me was that he said that 2 maintenance guys from the state of Utah called me on a Sunday.
All right, here we go.
And I get a call, and I don't answer my phones on Sunday. They left a message, and the gentleman said, "Hey, you know, this is kind of weird," and he was kind of hemming and hawing on the phone.
This was 5 days later then?
Yes,
You said it was on this Sunday? Okay.
Yeah, on Sunday. And he says, "We've got a paver emergency."
Uh-oh.
Like, the hell
When
is
the
that?
hell
pop
is
up
that?
all the time.
Exactly,
Yeah,
right? I'm thinking, this guy's, what the hell? You know? So anyways, I wasn't going to even respond because I don't typically do that. But I'm like, paver emergency. You know, part of my MO is I like to be useful, you know, where I can be help, you know. So I texted the guy. I said, "Look, I don't work on Sundays. My guys don't work on Sundays. You know, I'm happy to call you on Monday. What's a paver emergency?" So he sends me pictures of right where Charlie was murdered. And he says, "We need to put pavers in this place." So I called him, and the guy seemed like a genuine good dude. He says, "You know, look, we don't have a whole lot of answers. We're told by, you know, people above us that we've got to put pavers in, you know, today and tomorrow. It needs to be in by Monday. And we've never done pavers. We've never installed them. And we want to make sure we do it right." And he says, "Would you come help?" I said, 100%. So I went and got my shit. I got my trailer. I started calling my guys, and none of my guys answered.
Okay. So the 2 guys that were instructed to do this paver job did not know how to do pavers?
Didn't know how to do pavers.
They had to reach out to Dan and Hardscape Utah to do them because they did not have any experience doing them.
Wait, I'm confused. I got lost for a second.
Yeah, hold on. What's up? Go ahead, Matt.
What is it? Go ahead.
Who called him? Why don't they know how to do pavers? Why are they?
So 2 maintenance dudes that work for the state of Utah, they called him.
They
And
got
he's a-
tasked to do it, and they didn't know how to
Yes.
do it, but they had the money, and they were saying, "Hey, we need
This is like the cleanup crew that
Yes.
you know.
Yes.
called
Do
when-
you think those were actually maintenance men, or were they FBI agents pretending to be maintenance men for the college?
No, if you keep
Probably the
watching,
CIA's company here.
Yeah.
he
Well.
gets into like who the people ordering it were. Yeah,
Yeah.
You want me to keep going?
Yeah, yes, please.
Yeah, go ahead.
2 men have been asked to do this. So that's the first red flag. That's the first red flag there. These 2 individuals who were contacted by the higher ups, and we're about to find out who those higher ups were here in a second. Those higher ups informed these 2 maintenance individuals from the state of Utah that they needed to get their butts out on a Sunday in Church of Latter-day Saints, taking Sunday pretty seriously, Utah. They need to get their butts out and get this done by Monday. So they had basically 2 days to do it. So they launched this on these two guys who didn't know how to do pavers and said, you got to get this done by tomorrow. That's the first red flag. Now just wait until you hear who told them that they needed to go do it.
Here we go.
And so I started calling my other guys, my brothers. And then I called another, so I put together this ragtag team, of guys that we showed up on that Sunday, within an hour and a half of when they called us with our trailer. And we met with a couple of dudes. I was telling you there wasn't a whole lot of information. There was two guys that were kind of in charge.
So by this point, it's all dug up and everything.
Everything.
What did it look like?
I've got pictures, I could give you pictures of exactly when I showed up. I took pictures of what it looked like. They had taken out about 10 inches of the dirt around the whole place, right? Right now you can see where the pavers are. Everything under that, probably 10 inches had been excavated.
Why do you think they excavated so much dirt? You think that they were trying to make sure they got any bullet fragments or anything that was in there?
I wasn't looking at it with that lens, dude.
Really?
I wasn't.
It didn't even cross your mind?
It didn't cross my mind.
Looking at things in that lens.
You were saying stuff on social media. Everybody's saying stuff on social media. And quite frankly,
so diabolical.
I had been, I got so disheartened with social media because they just spin everything and they talk shit and
yes, we do.
Mongering and hate sells. And I didn't want to see it. I knew there was videos out there. Right when I pulled into town, when it happened, I Googled it and I saw the video from afar, right, of Charlie getting shot. And I thought, man, I don't want to see that shit. This guy got shot. You see it, he's probably dead or died.
When he showed up to the site, he had found that they had excavated about 10 inches down into the dirt of the crime scene. And then they had a different crew to come in and do the beautification of the area.
Hey, so one point,
and this guy says he has
make,
pictures. Dan Merrill says.
What was that?
One point I would make is that and he tells in here when dude asked him why they took so much, he said that you've got to get down. You want to get that topsoil, that loose stuff off there, and get down to the really good. You want a good solid base. That way when you put them down, they don't crack. All that good stuff. Yeah. Well, this is the thing about it though. At a place like that. That entire campus was basically built from the ground up. Like, it's not like any of that dirt is just naturally virgin, you know what I mean? So it's hard for me to believe that they would have had to took 10 inches to get down to solid base anyway. But the way that is and how low it is there, where that tent was sitting and everything, I'm guessing all that was excavated down to that level at some point. Because you know how you got the water fountain and those.
Yeah. So they built
everything steps down. Well, and everything steps down to the bottom, so that it was cut down. So that was just an interesting thing I thought of. Is like, but they probably wouldn't have had to go near 10 inches to hit good solid, base.
Yeah. So you're saying that they would have leveled that place out and then built those steps on top of it, and so that was like the lowest level right towards the solid earth.
Yep. Yeah, you want to get down past the topsoil because it's kind of loose and stuff. It can shift and pack. But
now this guy's gonna die.
So 10 inches would have been excessive.
Seems like it's excessive.
Get the grass. And
it would seem like it to me.
Yeah.
That he has pictures of what the site looked like prior to the beautification.
I want to see that.
He has pictures of what they did to tear up the entire site. Well, Dan, I think you're going to need to make those pictures public, man. We're going to need those pictures.
We're going to need them.
Yeah, we're going to need them.
Candace is calling.
Let's let them go because it's coming. Just wait.
Dying, right? I don't want to see somebody murdered, especially a good man, a father and a husband. So so I hadn't been on social media. I had stayed away from it. My wife had been on it, and she was a wreck, bro. She was just, all that ugliness was just. So when I got the call, I thought, you better fucking believe it. I'm going to go help. That was all it was. I'm going to go help these guys. He's asking for help. They want to do it right. He framed it in the sense that, hey, we want this to be done right. So that's why I showed up. So, I mean, to do pavers correctly, you over excavate, you get rid of the top. So
you do?
You do 100%. Okay. You want to get a good base. And these guys had kind of, there was two guys in charge and a ragtag crew. One of the guys was in charge of a state-owned facility in American Fork, and the other guy was in a maintenance groundskeeper on a facility in Provo. And these are the two guys I'm corresponding with. The first guy, the second guy that I hadn't talked to on the phone basically said, hey, look, we're not talking to anybody. We're not saying anything to the media. He says this is above our pay grade. The FBI and the state, the governor and the FBI. That's what they told me. The governor and the FBI said they want this done by Monday, and we need to get it done. We're not asking questions. We're not talking to the media. And so I said, okay.
What about that?
Governor Cox,
dude,
and the FBI.
Yeah, I want to talk about the due process.
Governor Cox and Kash Patel. Instructed these state maintenance guys on a Sunday in Utah to get this done by Monday. These guys had no paver experience to get the job done that they were instructed to do. And also, the site had been excavated prior to them arriving. Governor Cox and the FBI instructed these men to get out there on a Sunday at the very last minute, rush, expedited. That's the word we use in the business world to get something done very quickly. Expedited the call. So much so that they pulled out these religious people on a Sunday when they don't work to go out and do this.
Does he ever provide any proof of any of this, or are we just
they didn't use the same crew that did the excavation?
That's a good question. I haven't seen anybody doubting his veracity or that he's for real. I mean, what do y'all have a stance on that?
I don't know why he would. For one, I don't know why he would lie about it, because
God put his life in danger. Like,
yeah, I mean,
dude,
yes, he's putting himself in a
plenty of people will just make up stories to make themselves the center of attention in a story.
I mean, he most definitely did the work. I mean, and other people have dug into it. I mean, have looked into him and the name of the company and the contracts. So, I mean, he did the work. So,
I want to believe it. I do believe it.
Especially what happened to Charlie. It just seems awful ballsy to go out there and blame everything on, the FBI and the governor.
If he didn't do it, you already know they'd have been all up in our face with, everything to show that he's full of it. I mean, wouldn't you imagine? Like the other side, Gary and them. They had to pull out the receipts to try to discredit him.
You mean Gary Meltdown? Practical, tactical.
DOD contract Gary.
Am I the first one to come up with that nickname for him, Gary Meltdown?
Maybe.
Because I just came up with that today while he was having a meltdown on me.
Yeah, I think it's been a long history of that.
Oh, it has? It makes sense. I don't really...
It makes sense.
I've never interacted with him, Eco. Today I interacted with him on X, and he immediately sends me a sassy message and then blocks me. So when I go to reply to his sassy message, I'm blocked.
Right.
I'm like, dude, this guy just had a meltdown.
He blocks everybody just for nothing. He hasn't blocked me yet, but I don't know why.
No, he blocked me for a little bit, and then he unblocked me, and we had a conversation. He's a lot nicer when he's not, writing for the people of X, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But
did you
it's
contact him on X? How did you finally actually get?
Yeah,
contact?
so I mean, I basically trolled him for a little bit and was sort of pointing out all of his kind of mistakes and whatever, and then he blocked me, and then I continued doing that, and he couldn't respond without unblocking me, so I think he responded, and then as we kind of went back and forth a little bit, he ended up because he had basically said anybody who thinks you're right and I'm wrong, you come to the show. And I was like, all right, I'll do that. So that's how I got on the show. And
I know, but he won't do that for me. He already told me that he would
you gotta
have me
be
on.
super annoying, man.
Yeah, he did that bad with Adam for sure too.
God, I mean,
No,
yeah.
I don't know. But it's an interesting.
We're gonna have to kick it up a notch.
All right, y'all want to finish this little last piece?
Yeah. There's not much left. Go ahead.
Yeah, can I ask you though too?
I'm wondering who the crew is that
yeah.
did the excavation.
Oh no, and we could do it after too. But I guess the question is like, the Fed slop is going to say like, oh, we needed to clean up the blood, and so the governor and the FBI were like done with the scene, and so blah blah blah. The sort of conspiracy crowd is going to be like, no, they destroyed exculpatory evidence that would have shown that it was a bomb, or it showed that the blood was fake, or this or that or the other. And so basically it only really comes up if they're seeking the death penalty at the point at which then they need to reconstruct the crime scene. I think this is how it was explained to me. But and then maybe if they kept some of whatever's on the pieces that they saved, if they even saved it, that could be provided at that stage in the trial. But also,
Hey,
this might take years and years and years, and so
we got a celebrity in the chat.
Oh yeah, oh
Mr. Blake
shit,
Bednard. What's up, Blake?
Yes,
I
yeah.
know.
So if it's a shaped charge, like how are we going to know, right? So anyway, the point I'm asking here as
you want a link
is get him on, that'd be fun. The question I'm asking is like, if you can't like make the case with it, but you can't unmake the case with it because the evidence that would have been able to is destroyed, is that going to be like good for the defense or bad for the defense if they can't actually make a defense because they don't have access to those things, which goes to the point of these other evidence that is being tested without people from the defense there, without being recorded, so it could be destroyed also. And so they're essentially destroying all of the evidence that could be used to make a defense. And so the defense is kind of like, how are we and then it would seem like the jury's just kind of there to overlook that because we all know what happened. You know what I mean?
I made a due process worksheet for us, which once we're done with this video, we can switch over to the worksheet. I put all the elements for the due process case for Tyler onto a Word document. And so we'll sort all that out. No, those are all very, very good questions and considerations, like going directly at the heart of the due process argument for Tyler. So yeah, if it's cool with y'all, after this, I was going to pull up that little sheet and we can go through like these 3 questions and then like make all these points that like he's talking about and see what we think as far as his due process argument.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. All right.
We always got.
I only said bomb because I just heard Alex Jones say explode.
Yeah.
Blake,
Really fast, super random question that has nothing to do with it, but it'll be fast. Have you guys ever heard of Billy Webb? The girl, she's like a blonde girl.
No, Adam mentioned her the other day.
Yeah, I've been talking to her. She's gonna come on the show.
Oh, really? I started talking to her today too. I thought she was a small channel because she's only got like a few thousand followers, and I was like, hey, your videos are really good.
Her and Brandy and Billy on the Brandy and Billy channel, they had like 20 or 30,000. So.
Oh yeah, she's like actually famous, and now she made a tweet, and like Baron Coleman's posting on it. Project Candace,
they did a video with Baron
on her tweet. I'm like, oh, wait, who is this? Okay, anyway.
Yeah,
They-
they
I
did a
think they've
video with
been,
Baron. Baron pushed them hard.
But now they've had a falling out, and she's like, they're not okay. Anyway, that's never mind.
Yeah.
Cool. Back to whatever we were doing. Sorry.
We'll finish this video real quick. It's almost done.
Yeah.
And where the debris in the construction world, you normally have likely a dump truck or a dumpster that you throw the debris in and then it goes off. Where did that go? Where did the debris go from when they excavated it up? Was this collected as evidence? Or was it just taken and disposed of? That's an important question. That's a very important question. I don't know if he just tried to explain that the reason that it was excavated about 10 inches down was to prepare for pavers. I don't think that's accurate.
No,
That seems to me a little bit suspicious of an account from what this Dan Merrill
Yeah, and
is saying
Zach
here.
does construction.
Zach Costello?
It would have been excavated for evidence, I would assume, right?
Yeah.
You excavate the soil for evidence, the grass and the soil, you take it up for evidence, and then you allow the beautification company to come back in. It wasn't to prepare for pavers so they could do pavers the right way. They didn't excavate 10 inches down to prepare for pavers. I'm pretty sure he just made that implication. But guys, what's so shocking to me about this, that the governor of Utah and the FBI were the ones that instructed these maintenance guys to get this job done as soon as possible. I thought it was UVU. I thought UVU would have been the ones to been like, hey, we need to get this done so we can get back to school.
Something like that.
That makes the most sense, doesn't it?
What you looking at, Zach? What are you doing, Zach?
I know. It drove me crazy when I was watching this thing. I was like, dude must have just smoked one before he did this video.
Real fast.
Today's
Hey, Billy, the Billy girl's here right now in the chat.
John, chapter 14.
Yeah.
Where?
Look,
Starting
she's
at
in the
verse
chat.
12.
Hey.
Amen, amen, I say
Did
to
you
you,
just
whoever
hear me
believes-
talking about how I just found you today on the internet and then
she
like
at?
was messaging you and then I found out you're like already famous? I was telling her, I said to her, "Oh, your videos are so good. You're going to be famous. Can you please like come on my show?"
I'm already famous.
before you get famous. No, she didn't say she's already famous. She just
I know.
She's just like
I don't
anyway.
see her.
Hey, Adam.
She's here, dude.
Okay.
Now her name is Now Noticing. That's her YouTube channel.
Oh, that's
Now
right.
Yeah, everybody go to subscribe
That's
to Now Noticing.
Yes, go give her a subscribe. Yes,
Also,
definitely.
Daisy Times, thank you for the super sticker. I think YouTube is straight up shadow banning me. There's like my views are down. You guys did my videos about Candace Owens, my newest ones, have been dropping in views. Like I caught them dropping in views, like going down in views, which is driving me nuts. Like
it's like it's going in reverse.
Dude, Corby Hall posted my video and it's got 10,000 views on X, and then on YouTube it doesn't even have 1,000 views. And I understand like not everybody who sees the post on X will click play on the video, but it has 10,000 views on X. How does it? And it has like 500 views. Anyway.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, how? Like I said, how does it go in reverse?
We got a question from Amy.
Yeah, she said she's not famous. Well, she's famous. She's famous.
Oh, you're famous to us. I made you famous. You're famous on the Friends with Matt channel now because I was just telling everyone how you make good videos. I like your shorts.
Your short videos.
Yeah, hey, pull. Let me share my screen. I'll pull her up real fast so we can show people her shorts. Where's share
Question from
screen?
the chat is, do you believe it's a gunshot?
Right. Anybody in the chat? Are there any 30-06 believers in the chat?
Well, I think it.
I already know where Billy stands on that for sure.
You see
she looks good in shorts, is what Charlie Angel said.
Who?
Charlie. you those jokes were right over your head. You kept saying, "Show you her shorts." You know,
her shorts.
I like your shorts, and I was
I'm
like,
so stupid.
She likes your
I'm
short.
so dumb.
He likes your short videos. Well, Charlie's Angels caught it.
Oh, hey, Billy, is your channel named after like noticing that Israel is being Israel? Is that why, like the Great Noticing? Because I love the channel name Now Noticing. It's genius. I have my screen up if you wanted to.
Miss Susan, now Easy Killer. That's Billy. That's not Brandy. So she's not the one that pushed the doggy.
Hey, Daisy Times. I'm not saying that I got your super sticker. I'm just saying I saw that you posted a super sticker. I thought you posted on mine. Are any of y'all monetized on YouTube?
I'm not, so I don't. You must have sent it to Greg.
It showed up on mine over here. I don't know. I don't even know. Can you do that with?
Oh, then Greg, yeah, she gave you a super sticker. You just weren't paying attention.
Well,
so you forgot to.
Actually, I was in the middle of thanking her in the chat for it whenever you chimed in on it. But it's okay, man. It's all right, bro.
All right. Anyway, you're not going to show my screen. All right, what's our next subject?
I was going to see if we wanted to, in the context of the Pavin situation, just discuss briefly how that might affect Tyler Robinson's ability to assert his due process rights and maybe get a jury instruction or something.
Yeah, let's do it, man. Let's do it.
Yeah. You want to let me share a screen real quick, Adam? I got the worksheet pulled up. So I created a good.
Hey, Billy, if you want me to shoot you a link, I'll shoot you one on X real quick.
Yeah. So everybody, this is federal but we're talking about Utah constitutional rights of Tyler Robinson to object to the fact that they paving over the crime scene, essentially destroying, losing evidence, right? And so obviously if his defense, as Echo was so cogently pointing out earlier, if his defense is prejudiced by this, well, he could potentially assert a due process claim pre-trial. And if successful, not saying it would be dismissed, although that is a possibility, there are other remedies like jury instructions, limiting certain types of arguments, the state can make stuff like that. But I made this chart right here, and it's just 3 questions, but this is generally how the court would review a due process challenge by Tyler Robinson. So the first thing, like here, Tyler Robinson must show a reasonable probability that the sections of removed grass and dirt, i.e. the lost or destroyed evidence, would have been exculpatory. And so this is kind of an interesting question too, especially in the context of the definition of exculpatory, because Tyler Robinson he obviously doesn't have to prove it was the rifle, right? Well, he doesn't necessarily have to prove it was any rifle, right? They just want to make sure the jury infers that it wasn't the 30-06. Now, with the ATF report being inconclusive and hence exculpatory in terms of Tyler Robinson as a criminal defendant, let's think about this for a second. Would further bullet fragments help his case out any? You see what I mean? Like right now, if it's inconclusive and they're unable to affirmatively match it, if there were other bullet fragments in the grass or sections of removed dirt, well, that could really go either way. And now also too, there's been allegations or thoughts, speculation that there might be some explosive residue, or maybe perhaps of a fragment from a shape charge or something to that effect. Obviously if stuff like that was found, that would be further exculpatory, right?
Very exculpatory. Yeah, exculpatory.
In the context though of him, sitting at this inconclusive ATF report, is this something that he would even really bring up to challenge, considering which way it might go here? Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, and that was the kind of issue with regards to like the adult child and their role in the early part of the investigation.
Mm-hmm.
They were the one who basically said that they heard someone say he got shot in the neck. And then I think from there, it sort of became narrowed down to the shot on Losi. And so the defense had basically said that it was prejudice to sort of, and they went a different way with this, I think, but ultimately the defense was saying like, you got your initial evidence from the adult child, who through their, trauma may have unduly influenced you to, one, even believe that, there was a shot from this place. And so it goes to the disputing the facts. But two, the way they went on it was like, did this merit a, and I guess the sort of the timing for when the sort of aggravating information was coming in was a question, because I think the governor was saying, very early on, before anyone knew what was going on, we have the death penalty, and so there was a question of, are we looking for some of this aggravating evidence, and then poof, you get this aggravating evidence. So anyway, so just bringing that up because if the way in which the facts became the facts were themselves kind of planted and prejudicial, then the adult child doesn't really matter if you have all of this stuff from the internet that is also saying the same thing. But if it's this coordinated, planting of evidence in order to create the illusion that this shot was coming from Losi, and then we have, a UVU police officer who runs right there and secures the scene, and then we have FBI coming in and planting this and that, and we have, a rifle coming up on New York.
Yeah, it's very convenient. All of it.
We're not exactly sure. So, and I mean, for that, if that is coming in a different way and it becomes the sort of, basis for some of this evidence, can you get that thrown out if it's already clear that the prosecution is potentially working with the media to prejudice the jury pool, when that seems to be the case that is now bringing them into. Anyway, so that's just how I'm.
So let me just see if I got you correct. So you're saying some of the witnesses who are claiming that it was like a gunshot, to the neck, you're saying that some of them were influenced by the media or other things that they heard. Is that what you were getting at?
Yeah, I guess what I'm saying is to the question of is the defense in on it? Is the crowd in on it?
Okay.
Or are the people who are investigating this in on it? Are the people who are securing the evidence in on it? And they're providing the sort of things that are both exculpatory and inculpatory in order to have both of these different sides. Destroying evidence doesn't answer those questions. It allows both of those sort of possibilities to continue going on. Yeah. And so my question is basically, does that, it would seem like if you're willing to overlook the fact that exculpatory evidence was destroyed, then it would help the prosecution. But if you are of the opinion that no, that exculpatory evidence is potentially inculpatory evidence, then it would benefit the prosecution again. And so the only way that the defense can basically handle dealing with this is basically doing a motion to, I suppose, suppress any evidence that they can't do their own independent testing, which becomes more and more the more the prosecution is destroying that evidence.
Yeah,
so right.
Yeah. So and that, and a challenge to that would really be, if the defense doesn't have an opportunity to test the bullet fragment or these other items of, forensic evidence, you would really move to suppress that or exclude that basically under the discovery rules, right? Part of discovery is that they have to release this information for independent testing and stuff like that. I don't see judge letting evidence that hasn't been properly analyzed and considered by the defense and its experts in. I mean, sure, you could let it in, but you'd have to give a big limiting instruction to the jury and let them know hey, the defense has.
And that's not even anywhere clear here yet. We're at this point, it's the preliminary trial is July.
Yeah, sometime in July.
The defense already basically said we need more time with our expert than they would be able to get if they gave it to us now. and they like may not, and it's unclear what they've given, but they're not even going to show the reports at the
you put me back on
preliminary trial too.
And let me say this too. Now, this, like, when we say a reasonable probability that this evidence would have been exculpatory, think about this in the context of, right now there's a dispute over whether, kind of a lopsided one with us having the better argument, just saying, but whether Tyler had the ability to even send those Discord messages. Well, obviously they've asked for the video inside Washington County. I do believe that, presumably would show Tyler at that time when that message was sent, well, what was he doing? That phone in his hand, what was he doing? Now, if that video is destroyed, right, and all these other and all the other documents and stuff kind of show that, no, he probably didn't have his phone on him. So it seems that evidence would probably be exculpatory. Now, if they destroy like that evidence, right, or lose it or destroy it, that definitely, I feel, would be something that they could make this initial showing on. Does that make sense?
It does, and I guess the ultimate answer is whatever the judge says.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Yeah.
So okay. So and that's I think the issue is is the jury going to overlook all of the lack of chain of custody for all of these things, even though the defense had specifically requested it, or is what is put onto the internet and sort of looked at, and the cops are like, oh, TMZ put it, so therefore
yeah.
This is literally probable cause, and it allows for them to move forward with probable cause, but it also doesn't factor in that reasonable doubt that we're not even at that point here. So I just we're all going to get sick of it. The county is going to go bankrupt, because it takes more money to put a person to death than to lock them up for life. And we're basically going to either get bored and if we're looking at years, right?
Well, unfortunately for them, now that there's these platforms like YouTube and Twitch where people can earn an income while constantly talking about this stuff,
there's going to be a lot of people that hang with
that battle, right? I don't think they're going to win that battle. But I know that they're going to, I think they definitely are trying. Well, I say that. We said earlier too, and I'll say, it's a death penalty case. So all these motions that are being filed are kind of within the gambit of what should be being filed and done. But, it's going to be a long, drawn out, tit for tat deal. Does that indicate that, maybe Tyler's attorneys aren't working for him? I'm not prepared to go that far. But yeah, it's going to be a long, drawn out deal. That's what I'll say.
Do you think, Greg, it's possible that Novak and Bert are not talking to Tyler and Tyler's only talking to Kathy? Is that possible? Or do you think he would definitely be talking to all of them?
I would hope and assume he's speaking with all of them. But I'll say this is that if there was one attorney that he would have, personal communication with over the others, it would be Kathy, because she's the Utah attorney.
Right.
And Novak and Bert are really kind of the expert attorneys that are coming in, because they seem to be very knowledgeable about the appellate side. And then I think one of them would be what they call a mitigation attorney.
They're going to need to be.
Yeah, that's good at arguing against the death penalty.
Because I guess I wondered if Tyler was in on it and even said he had done it without doing it, but he told that to Kathy, that would seemingly restrict what the strategy would be, as well as kind of what Bert and Novak can even necessarily do. So that's, I guess, one thing. And then, well, you could respond to that here.
No. Keep going. You're good. Yeah. I caught what you were saying there.
And then I guess the other thing is, maybe I'll just hold off on that for a moment.
Yeah. Well, here, and what I want to do is go to, let's just assume right now because like I said, reasonable probability it would be exculpatory. We could go back and forth on that. I think it'd be viewed either way, but in the context of what we just heard about the pavers, let's just say that this was true, that yes, Tyler could show that these missing pieces of grass had a reasonable probability of being exculpatory for him. Then it goes to, okay, well, and this is kind of just, when we were speaking about the sanctions, in contempt, right? I told you, first there's the inquiry of like, were these statements violative of that order? Basically, were they in contempt? Yes. Well, then to what degree, right? So like, how much bad faith did they have in doing it, if any? So this is the exact same thing. Once Tyler would be able to show that, yes, these sections of grass and dirt, had a reasonable probability of having exculpatory evidence, well, then the court would flip over and say, okay, well, what was the reason for the sections of grass being removed, right? Like looking at the level of culpability or bad faith.
Yeah.
Part of the
That's
state.
where you
And
can either
so
make an argument or get called crazy.
yeah. So like here, it would be like, the Fed and the governor like personally, instructed that it be removed, for the purpose of beautifying.
That's just crazy.
Beautifying, if that's even a word.
Beautifying.
Oh, it is a word. Beautifying the UVU campus. You know what I mean? Something that's completely insufficient for a reason to have evidence lost or destroyed in a capital murder case like this. So again, that's just kind of like the elements there. But what else did they say? Could we say they're the reason why it was removed? Well, I guess that's it, right? They just said it was.
Well, I mean, you could. So that would be the Fed slop kind of version, right? But the version would be to specifically destroy the exculpatory evidence.
Yeah.
That, for instance, like if it is a bomb or if it's a shape charge, excuse me, like if it's ketchup, with squibers, right? Like all of this would be example. And so, on the one hand, the defense is sort of stipulating to the facts that the prosecution is laying out by collecting them from these, people who may be in on it or whatever. The defense isn't necessarily making those expected challenges, and are explicitly saying that we don't want to think about any of the conspiracies because they're all insane. Like if any of those conspiracies are true, they could bring in that evidence after Tyler gets found guilty, and it could undo the entire case, I would imagine, if you bring in exculpatory evidence after to sort of show that you didn't do it. But they're not
as insane as the Fed slop.
Right. And so I guess the question is kind of like, it seems to me that the defense is almost letting people believe that Tyler did do it. And there's good reasons, like maybe he actually did it, right? Or maybe there's like something, right? Or you can have your own conspiracies, or you can basically sort of say like, no, there's literally no part of this that can be actually tied to Tyler. The only thing there are these artifacts that don't have a chain of custody that were like found on the internet that there's a lot of ambiguity about. And like, you could forgive the police for believing that that's true, but if it comes to an actual trial, none of that is necessarily going to hold up. And if we are sort of at the place where they're between the probable cause hearing and the trial, they can do that plea so that we don't see anything.
I keep hoping that doesn't happen.
But the only thing that was sort of projected to be shown was the verbal testimony, I think, of Twiggs, and everything else was either going to be on monitors facing away from the chamber, or potentially in a closed session.
Well, and two, I'll say, the evidence is going to need to be put into the record and I'm not really sure how they do it there. Like, I don't know, like with these reports, these expert reports, the 1102 reports, like, I don't know.
Be drawn.
Huh?
Hey, real fast, I just want to shout out the fake Blake bed.
Yeah,
thank you so much for the super chat.
Blake. Thank you for the super chat, Blake.
The fake Blake. They don't have enough evidence to hold Tyler.
They don't. I mean, I agree. I tend to agree. I mean, on its face,
sort of do,
read
right?
the information technically, but now that we've had an opportunity, right, to really start sorting some of this stuff out, and we've learned more information about that evidence. Yeah, and I agree with, like, I know Barron said it before. It's like it's just fell apart from day one.
Oh God, it's not
more
done.
or less. I mean, in my opinion.
Greg, is there a possibility he's not in jail? Like,
I mean, you know, in this day and age, I don't discount.
The reason I bring this out is because, like, if you look at the assessment, he's like in the green. He's never had a prior charge, right? And so, like, the only thing that exists is this allegation, and we're not even like at the point where we're like at probable cause, and like a bunch of things have already potentially gotten thrown out of the probable cause hearing. So, you know, like, could he be at home or in, you know, Camp Valhalla or whatever with a little ankle monitor around him?
Camp Valhalla.
The screen off that says, like, you know, that says jail, that is sort of meant to, you know, promote the illusion, and then he gets walked into this court with his armored car. I guess my question is, like, is there a possibility he's not even in jail, or like, is he definitely in jail?
You know, that's a good question.
He's
because
probably in jail.
If he was to be out of jail, that would mean that he would be out on bond. I don't know if they ever even gave him a bond or set.
Is there any
bail
way he
for
could have
him.
bonded out and that not be public though?
Well,
I mean,
no, I mean, it generally would be. Now they could have. I don't see any. There would be some entry in the record. Now it could be, again, filed under seal. It could have all been done under seal. I don't see anything in the record that indicates that happened. But again, you know, I don't want to discount any possibilities, because obviously if Tyler was out on bail, his life would potentially be in danger, right? So that being considered, I see where if they were going to let him out on bail, if they wanted to keep it private on the DL, I mean, I certainly see that. I think there's some public and perhaps obviously personal interest in doing that. So I don't want to discount that at all. I mean, that point, no. You know, I do think he is in jail, but again, I can't say for sure 100%.
And then this other question about the showing the autopsy or dropping the case.
Blake's comment, yeah.
Yeah, the fake Blake Bednar's.
Yeah, the fake Blake. Thank you so much again for the other super chat.
thank you,
They
fake
need to
Blake.
show the autopsy or drop the case.
Yeah, and you know, and the defense acknowledged that they had that autopsy, but they didn't know enough to make anything of it. Apparently, it had pictures on it, and I'm not entirely sure what those pictures are. Obviously, Candace has also sort of she has a source that. Bless you. Yeah, that can definitely corroborate that or confirm that he is dead. But I guess the question then becomes: is this what? Can this autopsy be fake? Obviously, it probably could. There's also this medical examiner who has signed his name to it. You know, it sounds like they were next to the FBI when that signature potentially happened. So it's and then also Twigs came in and with regards to the note, with regards to these pictures, also talking specifically with the FBI. And then the report from the FBI got filtered through the Utah State Bureau of Investigation to the Utah County's office. And so you've got these like multiple layers of law enforcement that are all kind of, potentially in charge of different information. You've got Cox there, you've got Trump there, you've got Cash there, Bongino, you've got new Utah Public Safety, new, I think even the hospital people were new, or at least one of them. So it's I think this is why people are wondering if like an autopsy can be fake. And so They legally don't have to show it because it's Utah, and so that's probably why they picked the state.
Yeah, and I actually covered this in a prior live stream that I did. But if the defense can show to judge, I will just say, I don't know if this is the standard, but let's just say like reasonable probability that there are material inaccuracies or potential misrepresentations in the autopsy. What the relief for that is. Go and dig up the body. Right. That's normally like if there's issues about cause of death, stuff like that rise to a certain level. Exhumation of the body would be potentially the relief
to do that, right? But they're not going to do that, right?
No, I don't think. I see no way.
There would need to be a dire. I mean, it would have to be like there's a very limited slice of circumstances I could ever see equating to that. But I don't want to say never say never.
Before.
Right. And can you imagine
but as much as they're trying to cover this up?
I have a random twist to throw in.
Oh, please.
And Corby Hall sent me this. If Corby ever sees this, I apologize. I completely forgot about it. Did you guys hear that Lance Twiggs and Victor Marks might be connected because they would play video games together online?
I hadn't heard that one yet.
Dude, am I changing the subject too much, or do you want to share my screen for a second?
The conspiracies are never ending with this.
It never ends. No.
And the bad part about it is most of them are pretty plausible.
I think I'm sharing my. I'm gonna.
Yeah,
I know how the sound glitches work. I'm gonna reshare my screen.
For anything with regards to Twiggs, I feel like there's even less evidence than Tyler.
Yeah.
There's the Turkey Tom thing, and then like Daily Mail and I think New York Post have like gotten into, and Jesse on Fire has actually done some of stuff with the gamer angle that Twiggs and Tyler have with Discord and stuff like that. I'd be curious kind of what the
the problem is this is almost a 4-hour video by this girl. I don't give a Dom.
Right, and she's got like
she's good.
She is so annoying. I mean, she's smart.
Yeah, but she's really a hell of a researcher. She's a hell of a researcher.
Gosh, she gives a million side comments. But anyway, she. I mean, this 4-hour video could easily be 20 minutes if she. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm just ranting. I feel so mean now.
I know.
She's really smart though.
Yeah.
Corby sent me this, so I don't give a Dom if you ever see this. Just know Corby Hall is a fan, and that's a flex. She goes over Lance Twiggs' Steam profile, and he's got all these different names, mildly menacing, and she's connecting all these people. Lance Twiggs. I'm just gonna have to share the link to this. Yeah, she goes real thorough into all this too. Like if you see down here on the bottom right, you can't really see, can you? Down here in the bottom right, I don't know if you all can read that, but it's all of Lance's names. Fluxolotti, Lancelot the Spooky, Lancelot, Madison's Behind, Dispassion Sir Lancelot. He's got all these usernames. And then at some point in the video, it'll take me way too long to find it, though, because this is so long. But Corby Hall watched the whole thing and is explaining it to me. I was like, Corby, you got to tell me what I'm supposed to be looking for because this is so long. I don't have time
for all this. Break it down. Give me some timestamp. Something.
Did she put cats as like highlights for her thing?
For the cat counter?
There were like cats outside of the box, like she was like marking the document with cat pictures.
Yeah, she was. That's funny. Oh, look, Fluxolotti. So eventually she finds, I'm not going to be able to find it, guys. It's so long. But on Lance shares a screenshot or something, and on his friend list on Steam is Victor Marks' profile. It might be this actually right here. Crafton. I don't know if.
I think that was an early one of his or
of Lance. This is in Utah. Where's I guess, is Victor always in Colorado, or is he new to Colorado? Has he always been in Colorado?
He's the king of Colorado.
Is that where he's just been?
He's the king pastor of Colorado.
I'm not going to be able to find the image, but it's an image of Lance's friendship with Victor on Steam. I think this is Victor, I think. No, I don't know.
How do you know that, right? Like, and would be my question for kind of all of these.
Hey, and this is how they force people to do stuff. I mean, with all between games and Discord and everything.
No, if you go look at the
set up some,
sorry, Eco, I think I'm Eco, if you are wondering how they know it's Victor, if you go in the comments section, everyone else is asking the same thing, and you'll find the answer somewhere in the comment section.
But again, he can't find it in this 4.5 hour.
No, I didn't watch the whole thing.
No worries.
Anyway,
it's a question that I think is it pops up. You know, like how do you source all of this, and it comes to something, and it's sort of this way or that. You can kind of go either way. But I don't know.
Sure.
I'll have to double check on this.
It's crazy. It's just amazing to me that there is even like, you know, possibilities of some of these connections. It's just like the chances of some of these people being connected, you know, is just.
Well, if it turns out that, I mean, because keep in mind, Victor just said on Candace's show that Victor's been working with the CIA for years, like over 10 years. Dude, if he's been working with the CIA, then it's not the craziest thing that they would tell him to go on Steam and befriend this username Lancelot.
Yeah.
And Victor. Anyway, the text Corby sent me about this, I want to read real fast. I said something. I
can't watch Gary Milton, Andrew Colvett now. No,
he says, "This is Corby Hall. If Lance had a picture of Victor Marks on his stream profile, it means that Lance had some kind of obsession with Victor. I believe that Victor identifies patsies for domestic operations." This is where it gets really interesting. Keep in mind, y'all, Corby Hall knows Victor better than all of us.
Well, he's running against him, right? Is that what I heard?
No, Corby Hall used to be friends with Victor. Corby Hall owns a gun company that makes foldable AR-15s. He was friends with Victor Marks because Victor is obsessed with guns.
Well, basically, Victor reached out to try to get some kind of a professional relationship going, correct? And then, you know, it didn't take long before he realized that Victor Marks is
crazy
case. Yeah.
And keep in mind, Victor is the perfect like CIA operative who pretends to be a Christian and wins over Christian people. Corby Hall is an actual Christian. So I can imagine Victor uses this like Christian lingo to be like, oh yeah, Corby, you know, I'm a man of faith too. We should be friends. I think we can help each other. Your gun company, I can get these guns over to Israel. Don't you want to help out Israel? You're a Christian. And Corby is like, Corby sees through it. But so anyway.
Yeah, no, it was interesting. Also, the sort of trafficking comments that were coming up, and also, you know, connecting trafficking to wasn't Cutler and Ballard part of this?
Have you ever seen so many trafficking adjacent people in your life?
And Mike Mitchell's part of the sort of sex crimes unit, and they're sort of all kind of planting fake, you know, stuff to entice people to kind of get in trouble and you know, have these profiles and stuff. And then also you've got Erica with her stuff, and the Romanian angels. You've got I mean, there's a lot.
Yeah, what's that pastor's name that they're doing the Make Heaven Crowded tour? What's his name?
Greg Lorthry.
Greg Laurie.
Greg Laurie, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, let me read this real fast. What Corby? Well, you know what? I don't know if I. Actually, I don't know if I should be sharing this. I usually ask people for permission before I read their text messages.
It's international, yeah, right.
And let me just put it this way. He thinks it's possible that
just summarize.
Victor went online, found Lance, and that Victor might actually be trained at finding patsies.
Oh, wow.
Interesting.
And so if you look, then you go watch the Candace Owens thing, and Victor openly talks about working with the CIA for 10 years. Then it's not that crazy to think he might know how to. He might be a little smarter than he gives off, because he plays the I'm a dumb. He kind of plays off like he's dumb or something. I think he plays himself down. I think he's on drugs. 2, I think he is smarter than he pretends to be in a bad way.
Oh yeah. And you know, one thing about it, so the creepiest, most, to me, damning, most just insane to me is the fact that with the text message that he sent to Erica, basically right after Charlie had died, saying that what was it? They only wanted Charlie, you know.
They only wanted Charlie.
You're safe.
You're
yeah,
safe.
You and the kids are
Kind of
safe.
pretty much like Farnsworth, right? And kind of they got him, and
Well,
a lot of media was sort of using, or a lot of interviews were having people on that were using the they.
Oh yeah, for sure. But though, for him to do that, though, I mean, when you reach out to somebody directly, you know, and privately, I mean, like you send her a text message and say, hey, don't worry, you and the kids are safe. They only wanted Charlie. That is a very definitive statement. And to make a statement like that, you either have to be completely full of shit, which is a possibility, or, I mean, by making that statement, you are claiming, you are putting yourself out like you know who and why. I mean, there's no other way to take that message.
Who said that, Adam?
Victor Marx did.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah, and so this is the thing that I thought of as soon as he said that. Yeah, there's the CIA stuff and all that, but remember Candace was asking him about how he got in to certain places and was able to do certain things when he was over there in Israel, you know. And he went to the West Bank and over there to Gaza and all that. And what did he say?
I don't work with the governments. I work around the governments.
Well, but besides that, I mean,
he
said I have really close relationships with really high people up in the IDF. You know,
Oh, surely not.
Oh yeah.
So when you kind of think of that, and who do a lot of people think kind of orchestrated this whole deal, you know, to me, you could deduce that down to, you know, hey, it was Israel, you know, but I know some higher up IDF and they only wanted Charlie, you're safe. I mean, like, when you put two and two together, I mean, like, it's hard to take it any other way.
Yeah.
Oh, we got Cisco in the building.
Hey, this comedian's good. I like that comedian.
He's going to take everything you guys have been talking about and sum it up in 45 seconds of pure gold. Are you ready?
No, it's good.
You ready?
Take notes, buddy bear.
Charlie Kirk. I didn't even know that was in their wheelhouse. It was literally a video. You have this Iranian general just sitting in a chair with his face blurred. He's speaking in English, which means it's to me, okay? But he has an Iranian accent because I lived in LA for 10 years. Like, let me tell you about a Charlie Kirk. I'm like, what do you got for me, General? And he's like, did you know Charlie Kirk was killed by your government? I was like, yes, I did know that. I did actually. He's like, well, while we were hacking Cash Patel for funsies, we got into your FBI's mainframe, no big deal. Apparently the password's Valhalla 123. And we revealed our government plotted the murder of Charlie Kirk, and it didn't go according to plan.
What?
Our government botched an assassination attempt? He says, well, no, Charlie Kirk was not killed by a bullet. He was killed by an explosive device planted into his microphone that was clipped to his shirt.
No shit.
I know. Mind blown. Better choice of words? Sure. I'm sure a lot of people are asking, what? Who could even plant
Was that Tom Bray then?
a small piece of technology and detonate it remotely? Who would do that? But it's a thing, and it is real. 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 And it's Israel. They did it with Patriots in Lebanon. By the way, where did we get this? Trevor? Best Buy? What is it? Tel Aviv Tech? Okay. He said the device was supposed to explode downward into Charlie's chest cavity to make it seem like a clean gunshot wound to the chest. So we would all be like, oh my God, he was shot. And they'd thumbs up the fake Tyler on the roof. Be like, good job, buddy. We'll see you in Valhalla. But it didn't go according to plan. Device misfired. Like, where have I heard that before? And a piece of shrapnel shot through Charlie's neck, and it came out to the place that we were supposed to see the bullet going in. Now, this was the part that he said that blew. Okay. This was the part he said that really opened my eyes. He said, because it misfired and because it exploded in all sorts of which ways, a bunch of pieces of shrapnel flew everywhere, and a lot of them went down and lodged themselves deep into the concrete where Charlie Kirk was speaking. And this is why the next day, a bunch of people came to repave the entire area. So Charlie Kirk is shot, and the next morning, a bunch of random guys
5 days later, but hey.
Israel come and start repaving the entire asphalt. It's like you could have chose a better time to do that. This is literally the weirdest, most eerie part of the Charlie Kirk case, aside from Erica. It is the second strangest part about the case. Like if you were watching a crime drama like CSI Orem and somebody gets shot and then like moments later like, oh, nothing to see here, we're just repaving the whole area. That would be like a 10-part series where they're trying to figure out like who the f- are these contractors. And it was like, this is how you know it was your government who killed Charlie Kirk. Like it fell. I was like, do you have Lego content?
Do you guys think the Iranian government really did hack our government?
I'm sure they.
That's just a story that like we like telling because everything that they claim is all stuff I already believe. So I am inclined to say, ha ha, yes, they did hack our government and they proved everything I'm saying is right.
Yeah.
Right. But isn't it like
either that or
that like the Iranian? I mean, it looks like Israel almost like planted the Iranian story that said,
yes, yes.
In order to do what you were saying, which is like create a completely absurd, disinformation potential.
Look, when you have a president that literally runs his whole campaign and everything based off of America first and no longer letting any other nations, no matter who they are, even if they're like the size of New Jersey, keeping them from taking advantage of us and so on and so forth. What better way to rein them in and get them under control than to try to assassinate them 3 times? But if you do that, people start looking at you. So you make it look like Iran. And then when he comes into office the second time, you give him a nice, shiny gold pager in a glass case to sit on his desk. That way he can constantly be reminded of how we can reach out and touch you any day, anytime. This was an ongoing operation. Went on for 10 years,
Yeah.
No amount of Secret Service in the world will make you safe. I don't know, but it just that's the way I look at it. I think that they did all of it. Hell, they probably are the ones that did the hacking and all that. They probably just dropped it and made it look like it was Iran. Which Iran does have a pretty good cyber.
They usually like deface banks, though. I think it's like
instead they got into cross-eyed Cash Patel's email.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's the thing is like you don't know, right? Like you could maybe not.
Yeah.
Did y'all see the crazy post from Gabriella Cuccia? I'll share my screen again real fast. This Candace Owens posted it, reposted it. This thing, have you guys seen this yet?
No.
You may be wondering 2 things. What happened to Trump? Who is he listening to? Why does it feel like the internet isn't real and engagement is fluctuating based on particular topics lately? I think I can help answer both questions. There is a company called Vine and Fig Tree, VFT. It's a pro-Israel organization with ties to the administration. Earlier this year, VFT was at the White House meeting with Sebastian Gorka. Shortly after that White House meeting, I was contacted through a third party and asked to script write for VFT. The individual who contacted me is publicly very Christian and widely perceived as America First. I was told the script would be used to create an AI-generated video on behalf of the White House, specifically for NSC and Sebastian Gorka. They told me, we have to do this on behalf of them, the administration, because they don't want it to look like it's actually coming from the White House. You know what I mean? I mean, it worked out for them and Nick Shirley. I was then given a Dropbox link containing research, polling data, internal comments, and strategy material compiled by VFT and the third party involved. Inside the Dropbox were 7 folders. Through those documents, I learned more about what this organization actually does. Here comes the frightening part that pisses me off. Their reports monitor major conservative and dissident right accounts. That's all of us. Even though, Iko, you kind of seem like a lefty. Are you a lefty or are you a righty?
I don't do identity politics.
I generally lean more right.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I am a libertarian, but I'm definitely flaming conservative. Anyway, dissident right accounts.
This is the next person.
They frequently frame those accounts as vulnerable to or participating in foreign influence operations. They're framing these accounts. The reports include information regarding Nick Fuentes, Hodge twins, Real Candace, Tucker Carlson, Jackson whatever, Ian Carroll, Mario Nafwal, and just to name a few. They also collected polling and response data surrounding Joe Kent's resignation from the administration. And another report,
or Tulsi Gabbard to that now, right?
Yep. Oh, and she says that they were going after smaller YouTubers too. Oh, this is the part I think that I'm about to say. In another report, they argue that distrust surrounding Charlie Kirk's assassination was mostly due to Americans falling for Russian, Iranian, and Pakistani propaganda networks.
Right, there you go.
In that same Charlie Kirk report, they state this represents an urgent national security threat and demands a whole of government response on par with cyber attacks or terrorism. The internal comments attached to these reports are what stood out most. They talk about going after Fuentes, stating undermining his Christian identity is probably a good idea. They contemplate getting Matt Walsh or Michael Knowles to publish on behalf of VFT. They suggest collaborating with NCRI, founded by Joel Finkelstein, a multi-million-dollar organization that tracks hate speech on social media. Another internal comment weighs in on how they will advise politicians based on their data, which also compiles info surrounding J.D. Vance's 2028 run. There is definitely a way to use this in our favor. Tell politicians that there are two wings of the party. They don't overlap. The majority lies here, and this is where you should be if you want to get reelected. I mean, we see them doing this already, but anyway, this is an extremely interesting thing. I highly suggest everyone go look at. But it really, once you look into all this, it really makes me think they're coming after small YouTubers like me who are blowing up for exposing the Charlie Kirk assassination story being fake.
Yep.
I mean, they're not just going after the big guys. She's just naming all the big guys because you'll recognize their names. They're going after everybody that doesn't have the narrative that they have.
Well, it's not like they can hold the money part over my head, you know. So because I'm,
last thing here,
If you guys don't know, chill or make sure people are not saying what they're not supposed to. But also, I mean, like it also, there are multiple intelligences that are probably running psyops or at least information sources into the country in different ways, right? And just like the U.S. does that with other places. So, it could be multiple intelligences sort of fighting each other for who's got the president's ear or all sorts of different things. So, I mean, I have no clue about this, but it's I'm skeptical of everything at this point now.
Yeah, I have to be.
You gotta be.
Man. Like,
it's so annoying. I'll find it. Oh, sorry, go for it, Greg.
No, go ahead, Matt. You're good.
I'll find a YouTuber I like, and I'll start talking about them in my videos, and then everyone in my comment section will go, "Oh no, you can't trust that person. Don't you know what that person said last week? Don't you know?" Like, oh, come on.
It's inevitable.
Yeah, it's like, fuck, anyone? No, but
Bro, I became friends with Matt Tucciaroni, and then one person started messaging me privately that Matt Tucciaroni is hired by the government to come give me disinformation and to win me over and to manipulate me. Well, the joke's on them. I said, I don't think so. I think he's kind of a nice guy. He doesn't even respond to me anymore. So, Matt, we love you. We miss you, Matt Tucciaroni.
Yeah.
Well, we got Blake. We got Billy. Who else is in the chat? We got all sorts of people.
Yeah, we got all kinds of celebrities. This has been a very, very productive live stream.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this. Yeah, man.
Guys, I hate to, but I'm fixing to have to go get my kids.
It's okay.
Y'all
man.
can stay out. Y'all can stay on here as long as you want. I mean, like the stream's running.
I'm gonna say peace too.
I'm not trying to cut it short, but
yeah, I'm gonna go grab a bite to eat and lay her down in a minute. But I enjoyed it. Like, hopefully we can do this more often, man.
Yeah, we can definitely do this again. We can do this. Well, I say we start doing it. Well, we already us three had talked about doing Fridays, and Echo, of course. anytime you're anytime you
appreciate
want to
it.
pop in, you're
Yeah,
welcome.
man.
So,
Yeah, Echo. Yeah, and there's a bunch of court coming up over the next several weeks. So there's
Yeah.
at least a couple court dates coming up over the next couple 3 weeks. So it'd be,
Yeah,
in that regard, we'll have plenty of content.
plenty to talk about. Yep.
Let's go.
There's something every day
Susan-
with this thing, man. It's every day. There's a
Oh, yeah.
twist,
Always.
a turn, and so yeah.
Yeah, I got a couple things I'm putting together too, so I'll have plenty to talk about in the meantime, of course. So,
Cool beans.
yeah. Everybody plug y'all stuff before we get out of here, though. You know you got to do that.
Sure. Ecological crime on X. I also just threw my little new eco criminal report thing on in the chat there. So.
All right.
Yeah, thank you,
once,
Echo. Yeah, good work, man. He does good. Echo does good
for
work. We
once,
always
I
enjoy him
actually
being
put
with us.
everybody's links in my description, so you know.
Yeah, Eco, I don't have. You're the only point I don't have. Friends, if you want to subscribe to any of these people, look at the description of this video. I don't have Eco's link yet, but I'll put that in like right now.
Hey, I got all
I'll
of them
put,
in
I'll
mine.
put them all in mine too. I'll go back and edit mine to include everybody's links.
Cool.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna say goodbye. See you guys.
Nice.
Have a good night.
Hey,
you,
Matt, it was fun. It was real fun. And hey, we're all friends with Matt, right?
We
That's
are.
right.
We're friends with Matt, man.
If you're watching this live stream, you are friends with Matt.
And Greg and Ika and
Yeah.
Adam.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. All right, guys. So I guess we'll call it there. We'll stay in touch, and we'll definitely do this again real soon.
Cool, man.
I love doing
Thank
this.
y'all. Yeah, I enjoyed it, and God bless. And y'all enjoy the rest of your weekend, man.
Yeah,
Sweet.
absolutely. You too.
All right. See y'all, man.
All right, buddy. See ya.
See y'all.
All right, guys, that's it. I'm going to kill her here, I guess. Y'all have a good night. Y'all have a good rest of y'all's weekend or a good weekend. And, yeah, pinned in the top of the chat's my 3 links. If anybody would. That's where all my air quotes, super stickers, and super chats got to go. So, anyway, I got Venmo, Cash App, PayPal. And besides that, like I said, y'all have a great weekend. Go back and watch the replay. Anybody that's just popping in, we're sorry we missed you, but make sure and show up, pop in there next time. So, all right, guys, thanks. Love y'all.